And away from the Middle East, back here in the African continent, opposition leaders in Guinea have roundly condemned the announcement by the leader of the military junta that they would press for a 39-month transition period to civilian rule. The party of the ousted President Alpha Conde and opposition groups that had opposed him united in denouncing the decision on Sunday. Their statements came as UN Chief Antonio Guterres called on the military junta in Burkina Faso, Guinea and Mali to hand power back to civilians as soon as possible. Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, head of the military government that took power in September, told state television late on Saturday that after political consultations, he was considering a transition of 39 months, the first time he has proposed a timeline. And let's discuss Guinea's transition to civilian rule, which according to reports will take up to 3 years. David Awarawo, he's a professor of international law and strategic studies, and he joins me via Zoom. Good to have you join us.
Thank you.
Let me get your thoughts on this latest development in Guinea, bearing in mind that Mali is proposing 5 years. The military junta there intends to stay in power till 2025. And we also know that in Burkina Faso, the military junta there is also proposing 3 years. So what's your thought on this?
Well, it is unfortunate. Unlike the opposition parties in Guinea, both the opposition and, of course, the ruling party before the ouster of Conde have indicated it is unacceptable and a threat to peace and stability in Guinea. 3 years, 39 months, that is incomprehensible. And it is just understandable, why both the opposition and the party of Conde before it was ousted, have roundly condemned it. And, international organizations have also expressed their concern that what would they be doing there in 39 months? That, contrary to their claim that they just came to stabilize the place, it seems clear that they have come to stay. Unfortunately, that follows the pattern. That is the pattern in Mali, the pattern in Burkina Faso, where these military boys will come around and overthrow government under the pretext of trying to, stabilize and clean the place, and they come to sit put. The consequence over the years when things like this happen is that the country is plunged into greater instability and uncertainty. And as one of the parties mentioned on Sunday, there is a threat to the unity of the country. I feel like that as well, that it is incomprehensible that such a long time will be set, for transition. In Nigeria in 1999, General Absalom Bakar did that in 11 months. What does Doumbouya want to do for 39 months to just, organize a transition to civilian government?
And it's interesting you mentioned the word stability, because one wonders what sort of stability a military rule will provide in a country like Guinea. For example, we know that bauxite is the mainstay of that economy. It provides mining generally is a mainstay of that economy. Just bauxite alone provides 35% of that country's GDP. The military junta there is now at loggerheads with the mining community. So one wonders, if you're already threatening economic stability in your country, what sort of stability do you provide overall?
Well, they coming up. Recall that Conde's overthrow, before Conde's overthrow, there had been this, consistent protest against his government, because he illegally, amended the constitution to have a third term. That was the genesis of the instability in the first place. And the persistent protest, gave way for the military to get an excuse to overthrow the government. And so what the people of Guinea want is a government that is accountable to the people, a government that is truly democratic, a government that, makes possible the space for everybody to participate in governance. That is what Guineans want. That was what they protested against when Conde was there. And these military people have come now to say that they want to stay for 39 months. There will be instability on all fronts. Now, we now have the opposition before Conde was overthrown, Conde's party itself, the business community, and everybody. So what is going to happen in Guinea will be consistent and persistent instability. But the international community has a role to play in this. The United Nations Secretary General already spoke with, some leaders in West Africa, and ECOWAS also has a role to play. There needs to be a dialogue, a dialogue, very robust dialogue, to be able to reduce that time frame and to help Guinea to stabilize, to resolve the contradictions, so that there will be some stability and a shorter time for transition.
And this is certain to upset ECOWAS, isn't it? And I'm not sure the regional bloc has too many options left at its disposal at this point.
Well, it is one of those problems that international organizations face. Just like people have asked, where is the UN in the conflict, in the Russia's invasion of Ukraine? International organizations have this limitation of ability to organize themselves to get, independent states to go one way or the other. ECOWAS has that challenge as well. The only option they have is sanction. And we saw how ECOWAS sanctioned Mali, and that at least affected Mali to some extent, and made the leaders to shift grants somewhat. I think ECOWAS, that's the only option they have. They will need to first try and dialogue with the leaders, and if the leaders remain mulishly obstinate, some more sanction will be required to get them to shift grants and to get them to open up so that others can come to assist to get the country to stabilize. Others can come to assist to help them resolve the conflict with the mining companies, because Guinea is already a very poor country. And so if their main source of foreign exchange is now being affected because of conflict with the ruling junta, then their condition will be even worse. So ECOWAS has a role to play in this. Their options are limited, but they see a whole lot they can do to help Guinea to stabilize.
A country like Mali is now working with Russia in terms of providing security for its country after French soldiers pulled out of that country. We saw how Russia blocked, with help from China, blocked the support for sanctions, ECOWAS sanctions against Mali. Most of this country are beginning to defer to other countries in terms of international relations. One wonders what sort of option is left, not just for ECOWAS, even the UN, because the UN Secretary General was in Africa at some point during the week. So what option is left for these organizations to help put back power in the hands of civilians?
Well, it's unfortunate that these leaders are, changing, getting away a mistress and bringing a master. They were not comfortable with France's domination, and now they have gone into the arms of Russia, a country we imagine will be worse as a partner to Mali, of course, any other country that wants to go into that. What Russia is doing in Ukraine is pointed to Russia's disposition to international politics. These countries are, trying to block ECOWAS, trying to block the UN. But what needs to happen is ECOWAS needs to work closely with the UN. They need to be consistent. They need to be persistent. At some point, they will crack, especially since Russia is distracted with the war in Ukraine now. It will be possible for these countries to try to engage these leaders. That is the first option. And if they are not amenable to diplomacy, more sanctions, more pressure here and there. And of course, since they already have internal pressure as well from different, pro-democracy groups, different civil society groups, it will be possible to, compel them to shift grants such that, one, they allow others to get involved in the governing process such that economic stability can be achieved. And then second, such that this long, incomprehensible time frame for, transition will be reduced drastically.
Persistency there is the key word, but we'll see how ECOWAS reacts to this. Thank you so much for talking to us, Professor of International Law and Strategic Studies, David Awara.
Thank you so very much.